Hi, this is Ohio nursing home abuse and neglect lawyer Will Eadie. I'm stopping by to talk a little bit about keeping loved ones safe in nursing home from dangerous chemicals or other dangerous conditions. Thought of doing this because I just read a really sad article about a man in an assisted living facility that was supposedly a secure memory care unit or dementia unit. I see these popping up more and more as an opportunity for assisted living facilities to get more residents and more money by suggesting that they can keep people with dementia, Alzheimer's, and other high care need folks safe. In this case, the man who was known to go into the kitchen, even though there was some kind of gate, he would step over it. Sounds like a baby gate or something like that. He was known to go into the kitchen where they kept chemicals unlocked in a cabinet underneath a sink. He stumbles out of the kitchen with a cup of a bright yellow, some kind of cleaning fluid, obviously poisonous, and had ingested it, is sent to the hospital, and has a terrible, agonizing death. I will put a link to the article in the comments. Just a warning, it is both tragic and incredibly frustrating to read. Luckily, the state investigated, which doesn't happen often enough, unfortunately, and were able to cite them and hopefully prevent this from happening at that facility in the future. Of course, it would have been best if it had never happened at all, and it sounds to me, as a lawyer, like it was certainly a preventable outcome. So I wanted to do this video to share with you 5 tips to help keep loved ones safe in a nursing home or assisted living facility. And I understand you're not in charge of this facility, your loved one is there, but these are some ideas of what you can do to help advocate for their safety. So number 1, speak up and ask the facility where they keep the chemicals, what training they're doing about them, where the medications are stored, and make sure that they're locked up. And if not, raise an alert about that. Ask the director of nursing, the administrator of the facility, can we get these under lock and key? This doesn't seem safe. Number 2, check exactly what types of chemicals and cleaners they're using. There's information available about how toxic some of these are, about alternatives that are less toxic, especially if it's in some kind of secured area and they're keeping the chemicals somewhere in there. Even if they're under lock and key, if they can use a safer alternative, why not if they're serving a population like that? I'll also include a link to in the comments to some information about how to know what's in chemicals, how dangerous they are, things like that. Number 3, ask what safety measures are in place to prevent folks who have issues from leaving the facility or accessing areas that are unsafe. Sometimes it's called wandering or elopement. I'll put a link in the comments to some information we have about preventing elopement and wandering and what you can do if that's happening at a nursing facility. It's the same mindset. Someone doesn't realize that a chemical is dangerous, that it's not a drink or something they should be drinking, is the same type of mindset where they might not realize walking out the door in the cold, not dressed well, or just outside at all, they won't have the safety awareness to avoid injury or death. So ask what exact precautions are in place, whether it's just locked doors, whether there's motion sensors, whether it's well lit, whether they've camouflaged the locks, things like that. And then I would suggest making sure they work. I've investigated cases where they have a system in place to prevent access to a dangerous area. They have locks and things like that. They just weren't working. Or they have alarms on doors that just weren't working. So check periodically, make sure they're working, make sure the staff are trained. Number 4, when you're entering or exiting the facility, keep an eye out for potential wandering behavior of the residents. It's really tragic, but sometimes someone's leaving the facility, they don't realize a resident's walking behind them. The staff isn't trained well enough to realize that that's not someone who's supposed to be leaving with that person, and it can lead to dangerous situations. So be proactive and keep your eyes open when going in or out. And number 5, be educated, be aggressive about your own education. There are resources out there for risk factors for elderly or dementia or Alzheimer's residents to wander, to be unsafe conditions in a nursing home facility, like stairwells that aren't protected, things like that. Go ahead and read up. It's good to trust the facility and the staff that are working there, but that shouldn't be where you stop. Trust but verify. Go do your own education. And you can be aggressive with the facility in terms of asking, well, what is the staff being trained on? Are you willing to include, say, a checklist for keeping folks safe? Again, I'll put a link in the comments to an Alzheimer's Association checklist for keeping homes safe. A lot of that applies in a nursing home setting as well, and even more, they can do even more in those settings. So this is Ohio Nursing Home Abuse Lawyer Will Eadie. I encourage you to leave your feedback, leave a comment. You might have other even better ideas. I'd love to have you share those, and I hope everyone stays safe and healthy in a nursing home. Thanks so much.